Hey everybody, I'm going to do a short video to talk to you about how potentially well-intentioned tax planning that might work for almost every other business could cause you as a tax professional to potentially lose your license or get in trouble if you're unlicensed. And if you're the client of a person who's getting tax prep, if you're getting tax advice for your business, it may not have worked for your business. And I felt obligated to make this video because I've had 3 clients in the last year that have come across this, and I just want to put a stop to it. So let me start off by saying that if you are a CPA, enrolled agent, bookkeeper, accountant, tax preparer, please have someone that can help you with the business matters. Don't trip up into what's unauthorized practice of law. As a tax lawyer, I love working with tax professionals to help you with your clients. And if you're a small business owner and you're getting tax advice, make sure that you have business legal advice as well to make sure that they're coordinating with your tax planners so that everything's on the up and up. So let's talk about what happens here. And this is basically how an S Corp can cause you to lose your license or get in big trouble with the IRS. So there's a thing called unauthorized practice of law. And this is where a lot of well-intentioned tax advice from your tax planner, whoever they may be, gets you in trouble. Because as a first rule, you must always make the business decision before you make the tax decision. And there must be a real business economic effect of what your tax thing is going to be. So here's where things fall down. This is really in particular for if you're a Texas-based real estate sales agent. So you have a sales license, you are not a broker. If you are a barber, a licensed barber in the state of Texas, or any other state actually that has licenses. If you are a cosmetologist or hairstylist, if you are an insurance salesman, or if you're any of the other trades like electrician or plumber that require the state to give you a license, but they aren't considered professional licenses like accountants, doctors, and lawyers. This can affect you. So here's what happens. You go to your CPA and your CPA says, hey, you're making about $100,000 a year. I think you could save a lot of money with an S Corp election. And you could, and that's the subject for another video. But it works like this. You make an S election, and that $100,000, you now pay yourself a $50,000 salary and get a $50,000 profit dividend at the end of the year. It's the same $100,000, you just sort of did some paperwork with it. For doing that, you save about $7,000. Now, backing up even further, the way this works is when you have an LLC or a corporation or whatever your legal entity is, and I'm always going to tell you it needs to be an LLC unless you can prove otherwise, you don't do business in your name anymore. Your LLC, which is your shield, is what you do business through. Now, you may be the only person in your LLC, and it can't do business by itself. It can't walk around. If I have a lawn care business, my LLC can't walk around doing landscaping for people, planting pretty flower beds. It's got to be me doing it through the use of my LLC. But my business card will show the LLC. The contract that my customers sign will be with the LLC, and they will pay my LLC into my LLC's bank account. Then I will take the money out to my own personal bank account. We won't skip that step, otherwise the LLC can't protect me. So if we take that one step further, if I was a lawn care business, or if I was almost any other business, I could make an S election if my numbers worked right. And we would first want to have a discussion with my CPA to make sure the numbers worked out, to save some taxes, that it doesn't cost me more money for making an S election. Here's the problem, and here's where some licensed CPAs basically screwed up and committed malpractice that hurt my clients, and now we're having to go back and try to fix it if we can. So let's say I'm a Texas sales agent, a real estate sales agent. I'm not a broker. Or I'm a Texas barber, or I'm a Texas stylist, otherwise known as a cosmetologist. My license only goes to me, the person. Now, take it up with the state of Texas. I don't know why the licensing board says this, but if I'm going to be a real estate sales agent, I can't have a license in the name of my LLC. So I go to my CPA, and my CPA says, you should form an LLC. Well, that's technically practice of law without license. They can say it's a good idea to have an LLC. I've heard lawyers say that you should get an LLC, but as soon as they tell you what entity you should be, that's a problem if they're not licensed by the state of Texas to be an attorney. Now, that's why I always recommend have me work with your CPA or your tax professional or your enrolled agent. If you are an enrolled agent or CPA, I'm not here to steal your clients. Work with me. Let's work together to do each one of our respective pieces to help your client. But here's what happens. So the CPA says form an LLC, or your lawyer says form an LLC, or you just do it because you know that that's the right thing to do. And the CPA says, hey, based on your numbers, You're a real estate agent, or you're a barber, or you're a stylist that works in a salon, and you're making 150 a year. I think, you're going to make at least 100. We can pay you that salary of 50,000, and it's going to save you $8,000 in taxes. Great deal. And it's legitimate. It will really save you $8,000 in taxes. Here's the problem. You have to have a license to do what you do, right? I can't sell houses for someone else and get paid a commission fee without having a license. I can't cut hair as a barber and do barber things like shave without a license. I cannot be a cosmetologist without a license. I cannot be an electrician without a license. I can't be a plumber without a license. So in order to get paid, I must be a licensed person. Well, if you go check the state, if you're a real estate sales agent, if you're a barber, or you're a stylist, your license is in your name. So there is no way I can pay your LLC, which is taxed as an S Corp, because your LLC doesn't have a license. So here's what happens. These CPAs will let you get paid, and this happened to a client of mine who's a real estate agent. Got a 1099 for all the money they made in commissions. Took that money out of their account and moved it into their S Corp LLC, just transferred it over and tried to claim that it was S Corp income. That violates what's called the assignment of income doctrine. I can't have money that's Brian's, decide I don't want to pay the taxes on it, give it to you and say now you eat the taxes on my behalf. That's not how the world works. I had to give you the business, assign you the fruit of the tree, not the fruit of the tree. In this case, it means the LLC had to get the money. Well, that's not hard with my lawn care business, right? I just bill you out of my lawn care business and you sign the contract with my lawn care business. It's very hard as let's say, a hairstylist, because the salon, you're going to pay the salon, and the salon's going to take their cut and then pay me the rest because I'm a contractor of the salon, and I usually rent my chair there or my station. Here's the problem. The salon has what's called a salon operator's license. The barber shop has what's called a barber shop license. The brokerage for real estate has a broker's license. The master plumber has a plumbing contractor's license. The electrician has an electrical contractor's license. So the business that can hire licensed people can get an LLC and can charge money and then pay those licensed people. The individual licensed person's doing the job. So the barber who works in the barber shop can only be paid themselves. They can't pay that LLC. The stylist can only get paid themselves. They can't have their LLC paid. Here's what happens. If you somehow convince your salon to pay your LLC, you and the salon have both broken Texas state law because you're getting payments. A non-licensed person is getting paid for work that requires a license. So do you want to have a problem with Texas, or let's flip the script? They pay you and you somehow move the money over to your LLC, taxed as an S Corp, and try to put it on the S Corp's books as revenue. Now you've got an IRS problem under assignment of income. And assignment of income is one of the dirty dozen tricks that the IRS always tries to bring criminal charges for because they think you're abusing the system. And as my great friend Gary Johnson, CPA, says, do you know what the difference between tax avoidance, which is perfectly legal, is, and tax evasion, which is not? About 5 to 7 years. So here's some things you could do. You could say, hey, my S Corp is going to do the marketing and advertising for my salon business or my real estate business. I'm an independent real estate sales agent with any number of brokers in Texas, and I have to pay for my own marketing. So I'm going to have my S Corporation do my marketing and bill my Schedule C business for that. That we can do, and that's a way to get revenue into the S Corp. But you can't bill it any more than the fair market value of those services, and that's really hard to do. I mean, maybe $1,000 a month is really pushing it for what you could push on, say, social media marketing and things like that. So the trick to understand is, unfortunately, the state forces your hand, if you're in one of these licensed professions, to just be stuck as a Schedule C business. You can't really form an LLC to protect yourself from asset purposes, and because you can't form an LLC, you can't really make an S election to save the taxes. I can't help with that part. We need to take that part up with the state. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to have the frank conversation with your financial planner or tax planner who gave you this advice. If you're sitting watching this video thinking, oh my gosh, I'm one of these people, reach out in the comments if you have further questions. But ask them, how are we going to get over the assignment of income doctrine? How am I legally entitled? And call the licensing board. If you think you can get a miniature, that Texas has like a mini salon license or a small barbershop license. If you can get one of these entry-level licenses, then that's a great thing because you can save the taxes. But don't get caught up like my clients who get a nasty grant from the IRS. Here's what the IRS did to that particular client. They said, you messed up. because you could not have made that payment. They had the brokerage actually pay their S Corp. But then the IRS came back and said that's an illegal payment. So we're going to unwind it. So all those tax savings leave your S Corp and come back to you on your Schedule C. But now you've understated your income, so we're penalizing you for that. And now you made a mistake, what's called an accuracy-related error on your tax return. So we're penalizing you on that. And now you've understated your income by more than 20%, and there's a special penalty for that. So they ended up paying quite a few tens of thousands of dollars in penalty and interest because they got well-intentioned tax advice that didn't work for their situation. So if you're a financial professional out there, reach out. Everybody, my email is going to be in the comments. My website's in the comments. If you have any questions about this, reach out in the comments. And if there's anything else, look, I have a ton of stuff in my head, but I can't exactly think about every day what I want to put out there on the internet. Please reach out in the comments and drop things that you want to know. I'm just trying to spread some information. You don't have to hire me, but hire somebody to make sure things are done right, especially as we're coming into tax season and there's going to be all kinds of tax advice flying around the internet. Thanks, everybody. Good night.